Welcome to Recovering Out Loud podcast. The opinions expressed here are those of the individuals and not of any organization.
The best question that I get to ask myself whenever I feel like that, those kind of envious thoughts, is like, am I willing to do the work and the sacrifices that it took?
Yeah.
Do I really want this person's life, or do I just want this thing?
Yeah.
I probably don't want their life. They probably sacrificed everything to have that. Like, do I actually want, like, do I value wealth over everything else?
Yeah, bro.
Not really.
In today's episode, we sit down with our good friend Will L., an artist, podcaster, and creative. We discuss what it's like being in recovery. We talk about suicide, other mental health issues, the power of gratitude, emotions, and how to let them out. We discuss losing brothers in recovery. We talk about anger and coping mechanisms, misconceptions about addiction, money, and sacrifice to follow your dreams. If you like the show, please rate, follow, or like in whatever medium you listen to. Thank you and enjoy the show. We're fucking doing it, boys. We're in
rolling.
the studio. We're like, I feel like pros now, man.
No.
We got Will here.
We got the setup, boys.
Thank you, Will.
Lofsky.
We're in the majors, bro.
Thank you, Will. Air fucking Bispo. No, we love you, buddy. Thanks for coming on. And, we were talking about this outside today, but I was thinking about this morning too. And I'm not just saying this because you're here, but you're the reason that I wanted to start podcasting and that I thought it was realistic. So I appreciate you, man. Like, we came up with this idea when, you started talking about it with us. So thank you. And, you got a successful podcast right now, the Loftcast.
It's brand new. I appreciate that. No, I wouldn't call it successful yet, but I love you guys. It's coming, the Loftcast. We're all on all platforms. We're going crazy. I won't be able to get a job ever again. So if you guys like dark humor, tune in there. I won't be doing those bits here, but if you like that, go there.
You're here for in a different capacity, right?
This is one of the only times you guys will see me serious in the near future on camera.
Ever.
And this band also just dropped a new album as well a couple weeks ago. Go check that out.
Day. Run that up. Visual came out like a week ago, and we're gonna have more visuals. So absolutely, lots of music and some serious songs. You'll see me be serious in music, but you won't really see me serious in interviews. So this is a nice little switch up.
So what do you like about the two things? So you're a very creative person. I would call you a creator, an artist for sure. What do you like about rapping, and what do you like about podcasting, and differences and similarities?
It's a great question. Yeah. So there's just many different, I was so happy to get into podcasting. At first, I was a guest host. Shout out 3 Balaclavas, and shout out all the people that had me on podcasts before I ever thought of doing that. Like, before I was ever a fan of comedy podcasts, I had my buddy Ronnie had me on his. I was on a podcast with Vengeance, and some different people had me on for interviews, and that made a difference. But the thing with me is I've always been kind of like a troll. Before that was a thing, before we knew what to call it. I've always had two sides of me, a serious dark side and I need to mess around side. So having an outlet for that is really important to me. And that's why I'm just happy that I can do that stuff and then double down on the music. Cause even some of my music, I have a lot of pretty jokes lines, but I also talk about a lot of very serious subject matter pertaining to addiction, recovery, all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. It's just different sides of myself. You know what I mean?
Interesting, but they're both creative outlets, and you're releasing energy in that way. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I love that.
It's a lot of fun. I feel like podcast is great because especially in sobriety, I'm a really social guy, and I love just joking around with my friends. So it's why would I not want to have it on camera and stuff like that? There's so many times I'm just on the phone where I'm this would have been a banger podcast. Why isn't this recorded? So now I'm just trying to set it up more. It's also a good excuse because the older we get, the busier our lives get. Sometimes it's harder to schedule stuff. And then it's almost an excuse to get together with people.
Yeah.
That's a great point, actually.
I was saying this 15 minutes ago as we were setting everything up. I'm this could be a horrible podcast, but it's still fun to just get together and just if
nothing else, we hung out tonight and had a great time. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit stressful in the beginning setting all this shit up, but it's worth it after.
Yeah, man. No, for sure.
Man. No, it's all good. We're here.
No, we're doing it.
So, Will, how long have you been sober for, Will?
Almost 9 years now.
Wow, man.
God willing, I'm gonna knock on
Hope that's wood.
Knock on wood or plaster.
There's a stud. There's a stud behind that.
I heard a stud.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
9
Blessed
years,
to be
bro.
here. Blessed to be alive.
What was it like in addiction for you?
Terrible. I was like a completely different person, like in every sense of the word. Like addiction stole my entire personality. I lost. I was like, I had basically lost all my social skills. And then just growing up as a kid, like all my issues just as a kid that I was able to deal with when I was self-medicating and kind of went away. Then as the worse I got, they came back and they multiplied. They were much worse. So like my self-esteem was never lower than like when I was tanking. You know, my self-confidence completely gone. My self-worth, my self-talk. I was also in like drug-induced psychosis. I have a bunch of mental health issues as well that were obviously I mean, I've seen a bunch of different specialists and people that were trying to help me, but it's like even with actual medications, not just drugs that I was taking, but like doctors that were trying to help me, none of those meds would even work. I didn't really have a shot. I didn't know at the time. It was hard to diagnose me because of everything that was going on. I didn't know until like 2-3 years into sobriety that I even had OCD and that I had bipolar 2. I just thought I was crazy and that I was a danger to myself and other people. Like at one point, I literally thought I was gonna I didn't know what intrusive thoughts were. Like I literally thought that I was like a terrible person. And if I didn't keep just keep a wraps on my shit, that I was going to inflict harm on other people. So like I used to I would never talk to somebody the way that I talk to myself, you know? And my skin was terrible. My diet, like obviously still right now isn't the best, but compared to then, like I ate next to nothing. I'm like 5'11". At like the first time I went to rehab, I was like 110 pounds. Basically just a shell of a person, man. Yeah. And like this all just like everything that I'm excited about, like all my passions completely gone. Like literally the only reason I was getting out of bed in the morning was to get high and to drink. And that was pretty much it. And I saw no way out. I thought about killing myself every single day and like just totally hopeless, like just self-pity. I didn't even know I was resentful at all. So much fear, just a really like miserable existence. Yeah. And there were light moments too, but like generally pretty dark.
Yeah. No, I can relate a lot to that. You mentioned I something you said really jumped out at me. I would never talk to anybody else like that. And it's, I find that a lot with people in recovery is like, I mean, even people not in recovery, the most important conversation we have is with ourselves. Yeah, right. I've heard that so many times and it's so true. It's like some of the shit I say to myself, oh, you fucking idiot. Like, why, how did you just even little things like that? I would never say that to anybody else. Right. Yeah. It's so self-defeating.
I've heard this as a saying too. It's like, no one beat the shit out of me worse than I beat the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like the way that we beat ourselves up. It's like, I don't need any of you guys to give me a kick in the teeth. I've kicked myself in the teeth enough in life. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. And then the worst part about that too is like the deeper that I get into that and that thinking, then I ended up taking it out on other people. Yeah. Because I feel so badly about myself. I just have to get it out there.
100%.
And if I'm not working on myself and looking at myself, then immediately I almost need like just a release. It's terrible.
I remember someone said this to me. I can't remember the exact scenario, but I was talking with someone and I was getting upset with them, right? I was like kind of calling them out on something that I didn't like about them. Right. And they looked at me dead in the eyes and they're like, I think the reason that you see this in me is because you see it in yourself. Yeah. You know, I think I was calling them a liar, or maybe I was calling them arrogant or something. And like, you know, you're a pretty big lying, arrogant person, buddy. I think you're looking at a mirror right now. And I was like, wow, you know. I didn't admit to it then and there in the conversation, but looking back on it now, being sober, it was 100% true, right?
You're projecting.
You know, you're projecting it, and that happens so much with people.
I think that's what a lot of life is that it is the mirror, and that we don't always want to, because sometimes it's hard to look at that. It's hard to, it's a lot easier to just deny, backpedal, guilt trip, whatever other manipulation forms. Is like it sucks sometimes just being honest and be like, oh wow, actually I was like really out of line there and that's not cool at all. You know? It but sucks doing that.
To your point, it takes you don't notice in the moment.
No,
I mean, as you stay sober longer, I've come to this realization that the time gets like shorter and shorter between you realizing that you fucked up.
The self-awareness. Yeah. And just the ability to even admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a humbling thing. It's like it sucks to have to like go back up to someone and be like, hey man, that wasn't cool.
That thing I did.
Yeah. That totally wasn't nice.
So Will, for you, so like, you know, in the scene of making music and filming entertainment, like what's it like doing that sober versus doing that like while you were, you know, in addiction?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Because in this industry that you're in, like, you know, a lot of guys promote, you know, whether that's violence, drugs, whatever they're promoting, like you're around a lot of that, right?
Yep.
Whether that's when you're performing in shows, like what's it like doing that sober?
A million times better. Like I have no idea how I used to ever make music or just be in the scene. Not, you know, like I'm able to, you know, it's very easy to get tied up in all kinds of bad things in the industry very quickly without realizing it. And to be able to navigate that, to learn the business things, to talk, to have mentors in both recovery, music, business, and to learn all these things, it's a huge blessing. Like I have no idea how I used to function. Like I wasn't functioning. And also like to have other people that depended on me. Like, you know, a good friend of mine, Trey Gold, and we used to run Vampires Prom together. So we ran like 13 something underground shows. That would have never happened if I was intoxicated. There's absolutely no way that we would have ever been able to stick it out and to invest in those shows and to make that happen, to build a community and have people depend on me. You know what I mean?
As soon as times get hard, I find when you're in addiction, you're just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, I'm done. No, this is way too hard. Right?
Oh, for sure. And even the productivity, man, like, you know, since last August, so August of 2024, I've made like 85 songs or something. Yeah. And a lot. That would have never happened if I was using and drinking. Like, there's no way. Yeah. And I wouldn't have been able to write it.
A lot goes into this behind the scenes. Like, to be messed up, like, I'm remembering myself when I was messed up, like, you know, to try and make plans, coordinate with guests, then all the production behind the scenes, like hours and hours of, you know, editing and all that. Like, it's different when you're at the level of, like, you know, let's say a rapper, like, you know, say Kodak Black, that guy could just show up to a show,
have a team,
everything's done for him, right? But like this takes a lot of like discipline for one, because like, you know, we're all working jobs.
Yep.
So it's not like we have all day to do this, right? We got to coordinate guests. You know, you had to drive an hour, probably more than an hour to get here today. You know, then this took an hour to set up. Like, just a lot goes into this, right? Absolutely. So to do that, to try even think of doing that when you're messed up, like
just picture it.
The amount of stuff I would have forgot.
You know, exactly.
I could have got arrested on the way here.
Yeah.
So many variables.
Literally, I might have just not shown up.
I forgot the camera.
I might have just like had an anxiety attack and not wanted to talk.
Yeah.
What would I even say of value? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what I have to say.
Oh, I get in my head. I don't know. Like, obviously, I wouldn't have been able to talk about recovery.
Yeah. No, for real. For real.
But it's like, I think too, it's like, especially when you don't have a machine behind you. Like, if you're a major artist, you can get away with being unprofessional and kind of wild for a certain period before people don't want to deal with you. But being an indie artist, it's like, it's just me. Like, if I'm not doing anything, it's like nothing's going to get done. Like, I'm pushing 30. Like, life goes by really quick. I'm going to snap my fingers, wake up and be 40. It's like, if I haven't accomplished some stuff, it's like, guess who has no security? Guess who has no future? Like, it's real.
Man, you know, you mentioned, I can't help but think about this. I was thinking about this today, actually. I don't know if you guys follow like what's going on with Justin Bieber right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's struggling a lot.
For
it
sure.
seems. And I was watching a video the other day of him at Coachella, like dancing with another guy. And the look in his eyes.
I seen that video.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like, I know that feeling. He, like, his soul was just gone, right? He was just gone. And I feel bad for the guy because I hope he makes it back, man. He's good, you know. I hope
he was sober for a while. I know he's got Lyme disease and stuff too, a lot of challenges. And then whatever else is happening in the industry, because the deeper you get into this stuff, I know we're not going to get into all the other stuff, but there's a lot of crazy stuff with that particular individual. But man, it's a wild thing.
Like, I can't even imagine, you know, to your point. It's on the drive over here today. I don't know if you guys have these like kind of emotional gratitude moments where you're just like by yourself, maybe with someone. I was driving through Parkdale on the way here, and there was a long period of time where I was kicked out of my house and I was in an Airbnb in Parkdale, and it was like a studio on top of some kind of business. And it was so depressing, dude. Like, so depressed. It smelled like old, you know, when like an old guy walks in and he just had a cigarette, like that old coat, sweat cigarette smell. The whole apartment smelled like that.
Right.
And I'll never forget, like, I started like tearing up as I was driving over here because I was by myself. I was, had a bunch of plates of Coke, like all over the house. And it was just never enough. Like it was never enough. I thought I was doing, like, I thought I was happy. I thought I was living the dream and having a good time. I was going to work, so I was all good. But, those remember whens are important. And I just had this moment. I was listening to, I think, Willie Nelson or something, like a song came on, and I was like, man, I'm so happy I'm sober. Like, because I miss this feeling of one, showing up to be able to do things like this,
For sure.
having purpose in life, and not being stuck on top of this fucking apartment where every day was just like miserable. Miserable
For
shit,
sure. And you like the worst feeling, it's like waking up just being like, oh, every day felt like such a chore to me. I'm like, oh man, like my attitude is completely different. Like when I wake up today, I want to seize the day and get as much as I possibly can. And I think about other people and what I can do for them. Whereas every day before, I'd wake up and I'm just like, I just hope I can get through the day. Like it was literally just getting through the day. Like what a shitty way to live.
And medicated too. With my medicine.
I just remember, like, I think about that a lot now because like I have very, very busy days. Like my days actually have purpose, right? But like I remember, man, when I was in addiction, like I would wake up in the morning, I'd go to bed at night, like overthinking waking up the next morning, like, God, when I wake up, I got to somehow get a little bit of money, somehow get high. And then after that, I got to do this, and this, and then I got to get high again at 5 p.m. Right? Like that's all I would think about now. Like I say this all the time. My favorite part about sobriety, one of them, there's lots, but one of my favorite parts is just knowing how I'm going to feel when I wake up, not having to freak out about, I'm going to like have the shakes. I'm not going to want to talk to anybody. I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be sick. Right. And like Anthony just said about the gratitude thing, like when people ask me like, oh, like what are some things that help you? Right. There's a long list of things that help me, but one of the most consistent things that I use every single day is gratitude. Right. Like just, even when things get tough, because things get tough, right? And it's like, things start pissing you off, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, like I'm thankful that I have a job. I'm thankful that I have friends I can reach out to. I'm thankful that I have food, right? Because you look around the corner and there's, 20 guys that don't have that, 100%. Right? And not to use yourself to bring people down, but it's like, you get what I'm saying? Like life really is great.
Yeah, man, we're blessed.
We're so blessed.
And I love what you said too in the car about like, yeah, man, emotions coming back. For so long, like just growing up, I had such an unhealthy attitude that like, I could never cry. So I would push it down as like growing up with these ideas about like what a man is and how I, how I should feel. And like now, like, I'm comfortable enough with myself. Shit, whenever it comes, I just let it out and I feel so much better, man. Like even like past couple of days, just like random like memories. And like I lost a friend recently, a brother in like recovery. And whenever that would come out, I just let it out. If I'm feeling any particular emotions, whatever. And like, I'm so grateful that I can do that.
Instead of running from it.
Yeah.
Pushing it down.
And just keeping sick,
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my mother about this last night.
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
There was a few things that were, no, this isn't what I was talking about today.
Yeah, you have to.
I will say this next, but the first thing I was going to say was I was talking to my mom last night and there was a couple things that were, pissing me off and making me angry. And then I realized I'm like, these things aren't actually making me angry or pissing me off. It's actually like hurting me a bit and upsetting me. And I'm taking it out as anger because that's just what I do. Fuck that guy. That's bullshit. That's just how I know how to do things.
Coping mechanism.
Right. Yeah. But like, it's like a secondary feeling to the first feeling where no, actually something's happening that's upsetting me a little bit. And maybe if I just talk about it, figure it out, I won't be getting mad. And like, I'm able to do those things now because I'm sober. And that's the only reason, right?
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things about this podcast so far is that people reaching out to me that I know that are like, hey, I actually struggle with this, and this too. And it's great to hear you talk about it. But it's like, now we're going to get on a platform that can reach more people, right? That might be struggling with the same thing because, you don't hear enough young people talk about
Absolutely.
About this. You do not hear enough young people
Huge misconception. And like, the world's at such a difficult place right now that people have a billion excuses to, go hard on drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? Like life is tough. Let's be honest. Some people I talk to are almost like living in this fantasy land of like, oh, everything's okay, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like the economy's not doing well. Our country is like kind of crazy. The States is pretty crazy. All over the world, there's a lot of unrest and things like it. People have enough excuses. So like now is a good time as ever.
You and I were talking about this on Saturday. Yeah. I was telling you, I'm like, how happy I was and how things are going good. But we were also talking about like how sometimes people you could be like, you can read it right away when someone's like, oh man, life is great. I love this. Like things are awesome right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're like, you can tell right away that the person's putting a front on, right?
Yeah.
And it's so nice to not have to do that anymore.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like, okay, no, this is upsetting me. And that doesn't mean your life is shit again, but it's like, no, you got to deal with those problems, and putting on the front, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to do that, because I did that for a long time. And I would tell I would lie to myself and be like, and like I mentioned in my podcast before, I come from a small town where everyone knew me. I would walk around the town like, oh, everyone thinks I'm just chill Bill, you know, and nothing's wrong. But deep down inside, everyone knew something was going on, and it was so exhausting having to face people and just act like life was great. Lie to people about what I'm doing, lie to people about where I'm working, but really deep down inside, that would just kill me because it's like I'm lying to myself. You know. So that's a good point, man. Like, just being honest and open about how you feel, and people say it's just a man thing. No, I think it's women too, just anyone in general. It's it's so hard to just be open and honest with how you feel, because it's not an easy thing to do, to just be like, man, like this person kind of hurt me today. They said this and it kind of hurt a little bit, right? Or you know, this is going on with work and it's kind of upsetting me right now, right? It's so much easier for me to just be like, that's bullshit, man. Fuck, I don't care. No, that
person's an asshole.
Yeah, that's the easy route.
I got to be honest. I was more alluding to the fact that you told me about your mom calling you last night on her birthday.
Oh.
And that was a beautiful gift in recovery.
Yeah, my mom's birthday was yesterday.
Sick.
And you know, it's she called me earlier in the day. So third thing my mom told me, my mom's involved lots
on fire.
Shout out, Mom.
Let's go.
So yeah, she called me last night, and I talked to her earlier in the day. It was her birthday. I wished her happy birthday, and she was going to have a family dinner with my grandparents and cousins, whatever. And I was like, you know, I wish I could be there. You know, I don't see my parents as much now that I live in Toronto, but I was like, you know, it sucked a little bit to not be able to be there. And then I talked to her later on in the night, and she shared with me that there's this place my parents have behind the garage. They have this big deck, right, that overlooks the lake. And she's like, you know, for like a year, she's like, I spent so much time. That's her little spot, she told me. Right. She said she spent so much time out there crying and just wondering if like what was going to happen, and if you were ever going to get better, or if she would get that phone call one night. Right. She said she spent so much time crying, but she's like, this, like, you know, this was the best birthday gift ever, that you're sober now. And like, I love you. I was like, whoa, like, you know, I was just like, whoa, I literally texted Anthony right away, and I'm like, my mom just said this to me, made me so happy. And I tell my mom, said this for this morning, one of my favorite parts about sobriety is just like having my parents be like happy, you know, because they deserve that. They did a great job raising me. It wasn't their fault why I become a drug addict. So the fact that they can enjoy it makes me so happy.
Yeah. It's a gift, man.
Huge gift.
So what happened to you, Will, that brought you into recovery? What was the moment or moments that brought you in?
Couple different things. Like the first time I came into recovery, I was 19. My first initial attempt, and basically what brought me in was I just didn't want to live anymore. You know, I was attending audio school and really struggling to keep it together. So I decided to defer school for a little bit. So I was going to a university program that I dropped out of. Now I'm finally studying like literally exactly what I want to do with my life. And I enjoyed the program. I wanted to be there. More than anything, I wanted to take this as seriously as possible. And my addiction was so bad that like I literally couldn't. Throughout the day, I would have to stop at the bar. The second I woke up, I would start my morning with pills, immediately smoke, and just get fucked up all day. So like it was just such a train wreck. And every single day I'd be taking the subway from Union Station and think about jumping in front of it every single day.
That's heavy.
So like it just felt like I like that pit in my stomach was just getting louder and louder, and I was just like, oh man, I don't know how much longer I can keep this going. Even when I went with my mom to check out a center, and she wasn't trying to like, oh, we're just gonna like pretend and then throw you in kind of thing. It's like literally I was just checking out a rehab. I had no intention of staying. And I basically just like broke down there when it was crazy. So we show up, we drive in or whatever. I'm not going to say what the place was called. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so we get there and they're like, oh, hey man, how's it going? Or they're trying to be nice to me. Some like the current inpatients or whatever you want to call them. And then I was like, fucking terrible. And they're like, nice, you're in the right place. Actually, I was like, what the fuck? What's wrong?
Welcome home.
These people. I'm like, what the hell?
That's hilarious.
And then I go inside, whatever. We're bringing her around. Like, yeah, I literally just broke down in the basement and like for like a guy like me, me, like that does not happen. Like, you know, like I said, like it's a miracle that I'm able to, but it's so crazy. So like that, there was that moment, and then fast forward, boom. That was 2015. Then 2016, I had screwed up several times, relapsed, whatever, lots of bad things. And then I had a week where there was 2 ODs in a week.
Fuck.
My previous mentor was driving me. We were coming back from a form of community therapy, and we hit black ice. The car almost flipped, and then someone drove into us, and my mentor was sober. But just the fact that there was like 4 weird experiences in 1 week, I'm like, yo, I think I'm finally open to like the universe and a God-like thing. I'm like, something's clearly trying to tell me that I'm not going to be around. At this point, I'm like 20 years old. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it to 21. This is like really, really scary. Like, I think they are right that this probably is the last house on the left. I'm finally going to listen. And I came to another center, and like, yeah, at that night at a therapy session, like I broke down in front of the whole group, and that's something that never happens to me in a setting like that. Like I could not hold it in. I was like terrified. I did not think that I had a chance at sticking around. So I was like totally desperate, you know?
Finally, like able to wave the white flag and open up for a new way, right?
Yeah.
A new idea.
And then then the last time I had left that center, several months after, I took my will back one day, and I got high one last time, and I didn't get honest about it for like another 3 months. And I'd say that was like my final and like my realest bottom, was that I was sitting with a lie. So I was telling people that I was coming up to 6 months, but I really had 3. And every single night I would pray to my higher power to take that memory away. I'm like, oh, it didn't happen. But I knew it happened. And what was so scary is the second that happened. So that's why my dry day is July 13, 2016 and not April 10th. And it was terrifying because the second that happened, even though it was just like, you know, 1 pop or whatever, it doesn't matter. The next thought in my head, oh, I could get away with this.
Yeah.
No one has to know.
Yeah.
Like immediately that thinking came back, like right away. And I'm like, oh man, this is really, really bad. And for those months when I was holding that in, I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And I knew if I didn't get honest, I was going to go on like a really, really bad tear. And I don't think that I might have come back. Yeah. And like now that's like the biggest, like many motivators to stay sober, but like anytime, and I rarely ever get thoughts, but anytime that even like crosses my mind, I'm like, buddy, like you're not like even though I've been sober longer now, my disease has gotten worse.
Yeah.
Progressive illness.
Yeah. I'm not going to go back to like, I can't even like the way this society is now. Like, I don't like my odds. It's really Russian roulette.
Yeah.
No,
you know?
for real.
I have no desire to entertain. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to like, I knew I was going to die then. I'm like, now I'd bet $100,000 that I'd die within a year, probably much less than that. And I have noticed, you know, oh shit, man, I want to see how long I can take this. Like if I can live to 85, that sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. It wasn't even an option before, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm 29 now. That's crazy. Like I didn't expect to live to 30. Yeah. Wasn't in my deck of cards.
Yeah. No, for real, bro.
So yeah, man, blessed to be here.
Wow. What so you mentioned the you know the podcasting as being kind of front and center, and we were talking about this before, but like sacrifice to kind of, you know, not to be cheesy or anything, but to like live your dreams. Like that's essentially what we're doing here. This was a dream that I had. It was a dream that you had. And you know, why not me? Right?
I just talked to you about this.
Why not me?
Yeah.
So
why not me?
Yeah, I mean, like, tell us about like sacrifices that you've had to make and what that looks like and why you do that. Because
so my honestly, like the biggest motivator for me to finally get honest and get sober was so that because I wasn't satisfied with the music that I had out in active addiction. And it was crazy, like more than my family, more than my ex at the time, more than like literally anything in my life. I was like, I just want to leave like some kind of better art behind that if I die, that like I know, hey, I really did this shit. Like I did, like at least there was something here, something tangible. So yeah, like I still feel the same way. I don't really, and I look at life so differently now. Like I don't really believe in the whole legacy thing because at the end of the day, like, you know, we all eventually get forgotten and that's actually a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But while I'm here, I want to do like, you know, like I said, I try to just seize the day as much as possible. I want to leave behind as much as I can, inspire as many people as I can, be involved and like, and hopefully just, you know, do my, it sounds corny, but like, yeah, just try to do like my little imprint on the people that I interact with with to make the world a better, like just a little bit better than when I got here. I'm not too worried about like, oh, the macro stuff. I'm not trying to save the world or anything, but at least the lives that I touch, I want to have a positive impact on the people around me, and through like, podcasting, like even though my comedy is super dark, it's not for everybody. A lot of people have that kind of sick sense of humor, and I bring some joy that way. And then same thing with the music in a different sense, so I like just really just try to like leave this is my way. I'm blessed that God gave me these different things that I can do, and I want to do Rick Rubin writes really well about this. He says that like when we put out a piece of like whatever, any form of art you're doing, and he believes that everything is art, it's like that's an offering to God.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give as many offerings as possible while I'm here. I don't know what's going to happen in the next stage or where I end up. It's not really my business, but just trying to make them. I feel like it's the least I can do to just make the most of it. Like I don't know how I'm still around. So
sacrifices is a big one though, man, because like, for example, I
didn't really answer the question.
No, you did.
I like
you
that.
did, but
it's
for example, like it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Right. You're an hour away from home. We're still filming a podcast. I gotta work. I gotta be up at 6 in the morning. You have to work in the morning, and
wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
And but like that's the beautiful thing.
Exactly where we're supposed to be.
The beautiful thing about doing something you love like this is like I don't mind at all. But like to correlate 3 different schedules, like we gotta make some sacrifices. Like I'm gonna have a little bit less sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Right. But like I think we live in a society now where it's so tough to make it by.
For sure.
So you need to stay on your grind, and like literally, I know you guys are probably all watching TikTok videos right now. And this, David Goggins like grind, right? But that's literally what you got to do if you want to work, like make things work. Like we all work a lot of hours. We're trying to do this, which is our dreams, but this takes a lot of work. Plus a job, right? Plus you're going to school. Plus we have, a life, right?
And family and friends.
Right. And it's so easy to just be like, nah, like, it's playoff time right now. I want to watch playoff basketball right now. But like, no, this is, you got to stay on your P's and Q's. And that's just with everything in life. Sobriety, obviously, like it'd be very easy for us to just go to the nearest bar and all have a drink and whatever. Right. But no, like you got to just, like one of the biggest things that helps me in life is that D word, discipline. Doing things that, doing the harder thing.
You don't necessarily want to do.
You don't want to do, but and I was also speaking about this to my mom last night because I'm like sending her money every paycheck, right? To just to help save money and make sure I got money for rent and food and all this. And I'm like, like last time I sent you money on Friday, I was like, I was thinking it was $500. I was like, fuck, like I could get away with just not sending money this week and then do it next week. And I'm like, if I could go buy a nice pair of sneakers, like, maybe go for like a nice supper. And I'm like, I really thought about it for a few hours. I sent it to her the next day that I was supposed to send it. And then I sent it the next day and I was disciplined. I'm like, even though I didn't want to do it up until the second I did it, after I did it, I felt better instantly because you did the right thing, right? Doing the right thing is not the easy thing. Doing the wrong thing is the easy thing, right? Getting that instant gratification, which would be buying some sneakers, right? But discipline, man, in life takes you a long, long way. I think it's one of the key things in my life is discipline. And I feel like I'm doing a good job at it right now, but still I could do so much better in so many other areas of my life.
I had a therapist in my first treatment center in Minnesota. His name was Dr. Joseph Lee, I think. He's a pretty famous psychiatrist in the addiction field.
Shout out Lee.
Shout out Hazelden, Minnesota. And I was able to get a session with him, which I realized today was actually is a huge thing because he's a pretty big guy, right? And he always told me, and this blew my mind because I was 23. I didn't understand addiction, but he explained it in such a easy way for me to digest. And he used like visuals with his hands. He's like, addiction is like, looking at this kind of, so he put it in terms that I could understand. You have an iPhone here, the newest iPhone. You have your house over here. Addiction is about bringing both of those things together, right? Instead of buying the new iPhone today, it's like you're saving the money, like you said, for that house down the road. And you're kind of like leveling out that instant gratification for that long-term gain. And that's what addiction is. It's like, I'm going to give up this line of Coke because I know that I'm going to feel better in the long run. And it's just slowly you're bringing it together. And when he said that to me, I was like, that just totally makes sense. I get it now.
Facts.
Right? You're giving up. I don't even remember.
Yeah, man. Like anything worthwhile takes a lot of time. To answer that question a bit better, it's like, what does sacrifice look like? I've been doing music 13 years. most people would have quit.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. I
Hell
thought
yeah.
about it a million times, I'll be honest. But I just keep going, and I'm never gonna stop doing that. I'm never gonna stop podcasting. I wanna just, everything that I do, like, yeah, you mentioned with scheduling too. Like, yeah, I usually work like 30 hours a week doing shit that I have no interest in doing, but that's what I got to do because I got to pay my responsibilities. I didn't want to move back home like a year and a half ago. I had absolutely no desire to do that. But, I decided to do that to save money. And now I'm trying to more sacrifices. I've walked away from multiple relationships, like serious long-term relationships, people that I thought I was going to marry and spend the rest of my life with, because for largely for this dream. Like, I'm trying to move to America, restart, get property. If I can't do that, I might move across the world. I've got a ability to get like citizenship in New Zealand. Like, I might, wherever I know I want to leave Canada. So like, boom, more sacrifices, like complete, like walking away from family, all kinds of different things,
Yeah.
So like, I'm willing to go to like the same way I have to be, like sobriety always comes first for me, but like trying to apply that principle to like everything that I value, am I willing to go to any length for what I want to do?
Yeah.
And like, I have to be.
And this guy will, man, like you had mentioned about him getting, the dream started podcasting. Like, you do embody that, because since I've been your homie, man, and it hasn't been that long, like say 4 months I've known you now.
Yeah.
There's been multiple occasions where I've seen you like put certain things aside in your life. You're like, no, like this is getting in the way of my dream right now of making music and entertainment. You're like, no, like this is, what I'm doing, right? And I've seen you do that, and it's so motivating, right? Like that's why it's good to have people like you in my circle and Anthony's circle.
Like-minded, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're like the greatest part, like you said, sobriety. We talk about that all the time. But like as far as just, what you're doing right now, like I said, I've seen you do it on multiple occasions, and it's like, wow, like he's really putting it out there right now and trying to make this work. And that's so motivating to me, man. Like the way I see you move when it comes to your music and the way you promote things, and you're always connecting with new people.
Likewise, boys. Yo, real shit. You guys, like the second, as soon as you guys came out, boom, bear clips. I was like, oh man, I gotta fix up. I gotta get more clips. I swear to God,
That's how it works.
Yeah,
man.
it's fire, bro. I love when I get motivated, when I see my friends doing their thing. Like, it's so motivating. I saw some of my other buddies that were accomplishing things. Every time I see my friends getting on playlists or getting nominated, or like another one of my buddies I saw like this week, he had a video that went up like 12 million views. Wow. This guy like up like 5K followers. Like, it's so motivating. See, like, it's like just people, and I'm like, damn, like this is crazy. It's possible.
Will shared on his social media today, man. It like touched me. You're like, I just want to see my brothers win,
Yeah, man.
And I'm gonna tell you something that didn't come with sobriety. I hated seeing people.
I was just gonna say that.
I hated seeing people do better than me, right? Like people I grew up with, people I'm like, oh man, this guy's doing better than me right now. But now that I'm sober, I love seeing people do good. Like, it makes me so happy. So
it's possible.
It's possible. So
it's
like
possible. It's like, wow, that's crazy. That's so cool.
When you can do it, why can't I?
When I seen you share that today, I'm like, man, like it just fits. It fits the day so perfectly. Like, you want to see, you obviously want to see me and Anthony do good. So you're traveling, you're meeting us, we're connecting, right? Like, I just love seeing that. It's like we're pushing each other at the end of the day, right? And that's not something I used to do before. I used to just want to grab your shirt and bring you to the ground with me. Like, I'm down here, buddy. Come with me.
Why am I not where he is?
Oh, 100%. The envy, self-pity, all that. Oh man, I've been through those cycles so many times. I used to drive through like nicer areas and be like, oh, fuck you, you rich piece of shit, whatever. And then I'm like, yo, like, hey. And then the best question that I get to ask myself whenever I feel like that, those kind of envious thoughts, it's like, am I willing to do the work and the sacrifices that it took?
Yeah.
Do I really want this person's life, or do I just want this thing?
Yeah.
I probably don't want their life. They probably sacrificed everything to have that. Like, do I actually want, like, do I value wealth over everything else?
Yeah, bro.
Not really. Like, for me, even like, I want to be comfortably wealthy, but like some of the guys I used to look up to, like I bought this book years and years ago when I went on a trip to Bahamas called How the Art of Being Rich, or How to Be Rich, with Felix Dennis. He passed away. He's from the UK. This guy was like a multi-billionaire, whatever. But yo, this guy was crazy, bro. Like, I wouldn't, and he's saying like to actually be like rich, it's not for the faint of heart, man. This guy lost like basically everything just for that. It's like, am I willing to trade everything for that? No, I don't really have that option. Like, sobriety comes first before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I mean,
that's what it takes.
I've heard a good analogy. It's like, everybody, so there's like a bag at the top of a ladder, and everybody's trying to get to the top of the ladder, right? Climb the ladder, whatever that looks like, the job, the car, the girl.
Yeah.
And you can have your buddy that's already been to the top tell you, dude, it's not worth it. There's nothing in the bag, right? But you need to go to the top yourself. Yeah. And I've heard, I think it was the CEO of Lululemon on a podcast. Okay. He was saying it. He's like, I've been to the top. He's like, he was right. It's not worth it at the end of the day. Like you get to the top and you're like, what's next? Right. It's the bag is empty, you know, but you need to go and scrape your knee and hit your head against the wall. And that's my case in being an addiction too. It's like, I wouldn't have come into recovery if I didn't bang my head against the wall 50 million times before I finally realized that guy was right.
Yeah.
And today, my mentors, they're always right. Yeah. My mom, always right. You know, because they've been there, you know, it's like in the moment, you're like, oh, I'm right. Yeah. You know, I always say this, but like my biggest problem today is I'm right. You know, that's my biggest problem.
No, that's so true.
I literally had that happen again today when I decided to bring up some of my ideas about politics and different stuff at home. And I'm just like, yep, just shouldn't like, why did I, you know,
did it again.
Yeah. Just could have kept all these things to myself. It just didn't matter.
And now I hate him and him.
And it's like before you say it too, you're
beefing with my mom for no reason in the middle of the day.
Before you say those things too, you're like, I know where this is probably going to go, but you know, fuck it. I'm going to say it anyways.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, yeah, that sucked. I had to apologize.
I love it. Will, if you could, I'm sure there's someone out there right now, you know, struggling to make it, you know, on their grind, working hard, not seeing any results. Yeah. If you could say something to that person, what would you say?
Double down. Expect nothing. The biggest thing that I can do for myself is to just lower my expectations and to just focus in on the enjoyment of the activity and to get better and better at that and the marketing, and don't worry about the results. Like the most miserable to this day, the most miserable I make myself is when I trip about results. Results are not up to me. They're up to the universe. I just have to keep putting the work in regardless of what happens. And like, there's even, look at guys like Van Gogh. Van Gogh got shit on his entire life. Everyone thought this guy was a fuck up and a loser. He was basically a burden on everyone that cared about him. And he's like arguably one of the greatest artists of all
household
time.
name.
You know? So sometimes your time is not in your time.
Yeah.
And like, does it matter? Yes, no. Like what's more important to you? So if you love what you're doing, keep doubling down on that. And if you're not as passionate, then it's also, sometimes it's a good opportunity to be like, hey, you know what? Am I really willing to go as far as this? Or do I want to double down? Like maybe you want to go harder on the 9 to 5. Maybe like doing the art stuff isn't for you. Maybe you want to do finance. Maybe you want to do music management. Maybe you want to start a streaming company. Like there's a million ways that you can be a creative that don't have to be just the one thing. And I would never tell someone not to do the thing, but I think it's really important to reflect on, like, you know, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because for like the fame, for the money, for the image, for whatever bullshit to meet women or something? Or am I doing this because I love it? Yeah. If you're doing it because you love it, you got to ride out the bad times. There's a lot of fucking bad times, you know?
Yeah. That's what I love that, man. I love that.
And one thing I want to touch on about you, Will, that I love so much, man, is like, you're a creative guy. You're a super interesting guy. Like I really like, and the thing I like about you so much, man, is like you're just a 100% authentically Will all the time. Like you don't ever switch it up when a certain person's around. Like you're just always yourself. You know, you put yourself out there on all social media platforms, and like, it's motivating to me. It's like, you know, like you're. I love the fact that you're yourself all the time, because I know that's something I struggle with. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, right? Sober or not, I still struggle with it to this day. Is putting on that front. Like, what are people gonna think that about mask, me, right? But like you, man, like I love that about you, and
it took a lot of time, bro.
And I respect that about you so much.
I had no self-confidence growing up.
No, none of us did, right? Like,
but it comes with repetition.
Yeah, man.
Like you said, you know, ride out the hard times, and then you're like, "Hi, I got through that. Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing."
My sponsor used to say like about like feeling comfortable in your skin, and for years I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, my first year of sobriety, I was like literally just holding on for dear life, just like fucking terrified. I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to, like, if this guy told me to like move to like a random island by myself and stand on my head under a palm tree for a year, I would have been like, okay, cool, sounds good. I'm gonna do that to stay sober. Like,
if you say so.
And just eventually, like, finally felt comfortable.
And one more thing I want to touch on too before we end this that you just mentioned is the expectations thing. Man, that thing, that expectation thing helps me a lot because I expect things every day, 25 times a day, right? Like simple things like, I expect to wake up in the morning and feel happy. I expect to wake up and have to take a pee right away. Just don't expect nothing, because that's what gets you really like off your set and upset and mad, right? Like, and it happens all the time, man. So, and it's I think it's essentially impossible to not expect anything, but like to really try and minimize that, to not expect things, and especially out of people and situations, right? Like, because people let you down all the time, man. Everyone's gonna let you down.
For sure.
Your job is gonna let you down. The weather is gonna let you down. Just don't expect nothing. Just wake up and just do what you can control, which is your actions. Yeah. And that's what helps me so much. I really like try and live by that one, expecting nothing, right? Like, I don't expect the Leafs to win tomorrow night. I hope they do.
That's enough.
But you know what I mean? But yeah.
So we're drawing the line.
What do they say? Expectations are nothing but premeditated resentment.
Yes, bro.
It's so true.
I'm just gonna end up being pissed off. Right?
Yeah, man.
So I love that, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah,
thanks for having me. This is great.
And again, guys, go check out Will's new album, his new visual for his music video Boundaries, right?
Yes, sir. What happened to my boundaries?
We'll throw it up on the screen.
Bow.
And shout out Link's Music Studios for having us here.
Thanks.
I love this place.
Yeah, I love this place. You'll probably see us filming here more.
Absolutely.
And again, just thank you guys for all the interaction on all the latest posts out there. It's motivating for us. It's motivating for guys like Will who do the same thing as us. This just keeps us going, right? So yeah, love you guys all.
Thanks
I love
for
you,
having
boys.
me, boys.
Yeah, man.
You're no longer alone.
That's it, boys. Keep rocking.
Thanks for listening. Please help us grow the channel and like, share, and subscribe for more content. The discussions and stories shared on this podcast are for informational and motivational purposes only. This content is not a substitute for professional medical advice, addiction treatment, or therapy. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please consult a licensed physician, addiction specialist, or mental health professional. You are no longer alone.